Well, from the Army, just real quick, when I look at what you just said, is I look at what are the use cases. Okay, if I have a young man or young woman that's just entered the Army and they only need email, maybe I'll go with BYOD environment, let them use their email because there's nothing going to happen. But as I go from a zero client to a thin client to a thick client architecture, all three are available on a single device, my security model changes. So if I go, if you know, and I know everyone here has had a secret terminal on your desktop where you actually do your job, and in many cases we've implemented the thin client architecture. Well, I can do that in mobile today, or a zero client. So your app, so understand what a zero client is. Zero client is your device is just a portal, it's just a screen that just shows something, right? There is no application on the device, there is no data resident on the device. When I shut it off, everything is gone. So I can operate a very highly secure environment in that environment because the device is not at risk. I've got data protected in transit, I've got data protected on the device. Okay, now as I change that a little bit and I get to a different use case, maybe I'm working with PII or HIPAA, that kind of data, and I need to do some processing on the device because I'm going to take some pictures of a young man or young woman's tattoos and sit in their house and take down some information. Maybe that's a thin client, so I'm processing data, but all the data stays in the cloud. And then we look at a thick client, which we all know is at our desktop, and that is in a secured environment that's all done there. So depending on what I want to do and what's important is how I'm going to build that security architecture to protect that information. So it's all about right size building, right size and security for what I want to do. It's not, one size does not fit all on mobile.
And I think the secure containerization offers a lot of promise for some things.
Yeah.
Secure containerization plus strong authentication. We've got derived credentials beginning to be developed, which give us the ability to do verified identities and strong authentication in a containerized environment. That lets people work on one device. They're down to, they can flip over to the other side, their world. They come back into the secure world, do what they've got to do, and you've got a measure of control. That stuff doesn't stop what Dan pointed out at the beginning. There's underlying vulnerabilities in the devices and the code and the hardware that also are abiding in commercial devices, and we're going to be using commercial devices. We're not going to be building, well, I guess the president did. He had an Obama-berry at one point, but I think that's part of the solution. The authentication stuff is another part of the solution technically. And personally, I know we've been rolling some of this stuff out. I have not used a containerized device, so I can't tell you, nor have I got a big user base that I've heard back from as to how comfortable they are with that. But we're going to see that pretty soon because that's part of what's going to have to happen to give us some capability to control this stuff.